What? Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep screwed rep.
Yeah!
Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Unbelievable!
I'm too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Randy Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty! I said WWE stands for! It's me, Austin! I will never retire!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling video game? Stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. Create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own corporation from the ground up, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users, totally free. And you know what? If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, you want your name in the shoutouts like my good buddy John down in Texas. John, always love giving you the shout out. Then pop over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/ProWrestlingPodcast. Sign up today. Don't forget loyalty rewards. $15 a month contributors also get to co-host a show with me. $7.50 a month, we will enter your name into a drawing to also co-host a live show. Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, comments, something you want me to touch on in the future episode, drop us a line, give us a call at 267-642-1160, the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, and we will get to that in a future episode. Tonight, recapping some SmackDown, talking some NXT. We've got a lot to cover. Let's jump in. SmackDown this week, not a bad show. Opened the show with Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes having a whole throwdown. Somehow Jimmy Uso gets involved in this whole melee. I don't really love that tie-in whatsoever. It's going to lead to a match later on, Jimmy Uso and Drew McIntyre, that are going to be fighting in a no disqualification match. No build to this, no nothing. I understand we're going to have Cody and McIntyre at Saturday night's main event. That's fine. But there's so much more that could have been done here. Solo Sikoa, his faction, JC Mateo Tamatanga, they come out, they have a tag team match with Shinsuke Nakamura and Rey Fenix. Hating this a little bit because Rey Fenix is getting buried. Let's be honest, we all are smart enough to know Rey Fenix should be going to Raw and teaming with Penta, or Penta coming to SmackDown, teaming with Phoenix. I don't care. They should be teaming. What they're doing with Nakamura for the last 2-3 years has been mind-boggling to me. I don't understand why they're doing whatever it is that they think they're doing with him. But at the end of the day, what we're seeing here is we're not seeing the usage the way we probably should be for these talents. Because let's be honest, they're fantastic. They can still go in the ring. They've got a lot to offer, and they're not getting anything of substance. Now, the match itself is fine, I suppose. You know, you're putting the MFTs over. We knew that would happen. This is a squash match, really. That's all it is. But is what it is. I guess if you're trying to build that team up to make them legitimate contenders for the tag team championship against the Wyatts, which is obviously where they're going with this, I guess you have to do some of this. I just don't feel like Solo is involved in almost anything right now, and he's supposed to be the leader of the faction. And like, he loses the United States Championship. There's really no follow-up to that. It's very bland right now to me. That's just my opinion. We go from there, and we have the next matchup. We're forgetting all the backstage stuff. The next matchup is Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James with Julia. Obviously, this is going to be a Tiffany Stratton win. Julia, somewhere down the line, probably gets into the World Championship picture, but it's a little not going to happen right now. Of course, the end of the match is what becomes intriguing, where we see that we have the big run-in when Tiffany is getting beat down. We have the big run-in from Jade Cargill, who then goes heel and obliterates Tiffany Stratton. I feel like a lot of people knew this had to happen at some point. Jade Cargill's much better as the heel, leaning into the kind of character she played in AEW when she was so dominant there. I think this is a good move for her, and this is going to set up another match between the two at Saturday night's main event. And then we go from there to Ilya Dragunov, who has promised to keep these open challenges going for the United States Championship. And this week's challenger is Aleister Black, being led to the ring by his real-life wife, Zelina Vega, for the U.S. Championship. Match is going well. Great match, back and forth. I enjoyed the match. The ending, I think, was just what you needed. You got to keep everybody strong. Dragunov is a new champion, has to stay strong. Aleister Black can't win the title this early, but you don't want to beat him either. And he's already in a feud, so what do you have? You hit the music. Damian Priest comes out for the distraction, leading to Dragunov picking up the win, and then a big melee brawl between Priest and Black after the match. I think this was very well done. I think it served a purpose, and it accomplished everything it was necessary. When we get to the no disqualification match, the real main event of the evening, I wish they'd do something of more substance for main events for SmackDown. I think Raw does an okay job. I think SmackDown kind of has dropped the ball recently. McIntyre, Uso, no disqualification. The match is solid, I suppose. No need really for the no disqualification part of it. That's what I feel like they missed an opportunity to do some really cool stuff here. The ending, seeing the Uso splash attempt, which McIntyre then sees coming, McIntyre hits Jimmy with the chair, hits a Claymore, picks up the win. When he goes to threaten to break Jimmy's neck using the chair, Cody runs out, and of course Cody is going to make the save and then eat a Claymore himself and get laid out. I thought SmackDown was pretty solid top to bottom, but it wasn't anything that wowed me. It wasn't anything that brought there was no major memories made from that show, except maybe the Jade Cargill turn, which is big, I suppose, but I think, again, it's like a lot of WWE booking lately. We all can see it coming, so I don't feel like it has the same pizzazz as it probably could have had a few months ago had they done the exact same thing. Let's jump into some other news. CM Punk was speaking on a WWE vlog where he mentioned that he's coming down near the end of his career. This is the first time we've heard him really have that conversation. He said, John Cena's calling it quits. AJ Styles says he's going to retire next year, and I don't know how much time I've got left. I'm going to keep going until the wheels fall off, but I know that it's sooner rather than later. So I think it's another one of those people. I feel like we're getting hit with this barrage of all these people who want to leave, and it's really a shame because there's so many more matches, dream matches we haven't seen yet, even now with him, that I hope we don't miss the opportunity to see, because there's so much they can do with someone as versatile as CM Punk. Let's jump into some of the weird news of the week. Dave Meltzer was offering an update from Wrestling Observer Newsletter about the AI integration in WWE. The word came out last week that they're going to be using AI in some way, shape, or form in terms of creative. I think it was probably blown way out of proportion for now, at least. It sounded like they were using it to try to determine how frequently talent have exchanged matches, had feuds, things like that, and to give some basic input. Meltzer kind of compared it to a writer's assistant position, but even that could be problematic if you're eliminating jobs for people who previously would have been applying to be the writer's assistants and things of that nature, if their job is now going to a computer doing an AI program. So that's a little strange, but it's being said that WWE is very frustrated with how the story broke. There's a report last week that said that one of the example of how AI was being used is that former WWE star Bobby Lashley was being brought back as a character obsessed with Japanese culture, even though he doesn't even work for them anymore. So obviously their AI program has a long way to go, but I think it's not surprising. There was actually reference that they've been using AI in some way, shape, or form for several years now, and that this is nothing new. It's just not what people initially made it out to be. They're not looking to replace writers and have the computers write everything for them, and that's kind of the way it came out. Maybe in the future that could be the case, but right now certainly not. I did see a report, e-wrestling news, about Bullet Club. There was some conversation because WWE referenced the term Bullet Club at during the John Cena versus AJ Styles match in Crown Jewel Perth. And not a problem using the term, and New Japan Pro Wrestling retains the intellectual property of the Bullet Club. However, they let the wrestlers who have been in the club use the term relatively easily. In other promotions, they have no problem with that. It's just if somebody was going to sell merchandise or market the name Bullet Club, then it has to go through New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's kind of the approach they've taken. Good for them, and it was nice to be able to see something like that referenced in a WWE perspective, because it's not something we see very frequently. So, very interesting stuff. So, Yeah, obviously WWE using the name and with all the speculation about, Tanahashi's last match and could Shinsuke go there, using words like that and referencing New Japan Pro Wrestling. Even last year when we saw The Rock come out on Twitter and he was wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling t-shirt, could be something that factors into a relationship building opportunity between WWE and New Japan. Don't see it happening anytime soon, but I certainly would not be opposed to that Nakamura-Tanahashi match. If silly things like this can help that happen, I'm all in favor of it. Let's talk Candice LeRae, off TV since September, but now she's got a new role. She is training to be a producer backstage. Apparently has put together some of the pre-SmackDown taping matches. Recently, a Street Profits Los Garza's match in Tempe, Arizona. She's been working for WWE Main Event, and this seems like a natural progression for her. She's not wrestling as frequently anymore, so this is a great opportunity for them to take a talent that is familiar with their system and really bring them up to snuff and up to speed, doing something more relevant for the company going forward, and give her a role, so she's not just going to be drifting off into the sunset and no longer wrestle, which often happens to some of the female talent when they get to a certain age, which people have complained about for years. And various female talents that men wrestle in their 40s, 50s, even Sting 60s, Flair 70s, and the women, once you hit like 35, nobody wants anything to do with you. So it's great to see WWE taking some steps to offer employment to the ladies who have given so much to the industry and be a part of something going forward. Let's go to some not so happy news. Abdullah the Butcher, WWE Hall of Famer, the madman from the Sudan, is not doing so well. He's in the hospital. He's got some serious medical conditions. He's had several before. He's 84 years old. He's not a spring chicken by any stretch. TMZ confirmed the report. He's back in the hospital. Steve Stasiak is his agent and put out that he needs your prayers and well wishes because he's having some serious health issues. No report yet on what those issues are, but certainly there are something going on out there. I mean, from here, we're going to totally change direction and go back to TNA wrestling. See, we're all over the place tonight, trying to get it all in while NXT is taking place right now, Halloween Havoc. We'll get to that in a few seconds. Contracts. The Rascals contracts coming due at the end of 2025. Myron Reed, apparently his contract, he's been hanging with the Rascals. His ran out in August. All still wrestling for TNA for now. I guess we'll have to wait and see if they retain their services. Apparently they want to retain them. And then it gets to Matt and Jeff Hardy. Their contracts, they're supposed to expire in November. Now, the word is the TNA president, Carlos Silva, wants to retain Matt and Jeff. He put a post out saying, it's a quote, "Thank you, Matt and Jeff, for being a part of this TNA team. Such a pleasure to work with you and look forward to many years of positive vibes together." So clearly he's feeling very encouraged about what they could possibly do. But there is also conversation right now about what has been described as insane money offers being put together for an appearance at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia 2027. So obviously if they sign something long-term with TNA, they're going to be considering that WWE's money when it comes to that huge WrestleMania in Saudi, because that's something the Saudi Crown Prince is going to want to have there. So obviously they've got a lot of options coming up, and their contracts coming up very, very soon. I don't know that WWE would want them on a full-time schedule, but it would not be a bad thing for the Raw Tag Team division if nowhere else, but we'll have to wait and see. And then heading into the NXT conversation, a lot going on tonight. The show is still going on. I don't want to spoil too much. If you don't want to hear spoilers, cut the video off right now. We'll see you next episode. But if you're okay with some of the spoilers, let's get into it a little bit. I think one of the coolest things we have to talk about is the fact that tonight on NXT's Halloween Havoc episode, they talked and announced that there's going to be a 2-week NXT Gold Rush special event, Tuesday, November 18th and Tuesday, November 25th. You're going to see championships defended from NXT, also TNA Wrestling, AAA Lucha Libre Worldwide, WWE Evolved. Who knows what else they may add between now and then. Were I them, if you really wanted to blow people's minds, I'd bring in people like Pro Wrestling Noah, since you have a great relationship there, and anybody else you could bring in. But the Gold Rush is coming back. They announced that tonight ahead of the pay-per-view. And then, of course, the pay-per-view itself. Like I said, if you don't want spoilers, this is not the place for you, because I'm going to say some things that happened tonight already on the show if you didn't get the chance to check out the pay-per-view. I got to say, I love the fact that we got to see Mr. Iguana and La Parka in a WWE ring again. Fantastic time watching the match. Some really goofy spots, but that's kind of what people like Mr. Iguana and La Parka are for. Javon Edge Evans and Leon Slater coming out the victors. What a great match. Entertaining. Those two are just connected to the crowd in a way that I can't even describe. Fantastic stuff. Both have bright futures, and I'm so thrilled that they're getting an opportunity to really showcase that in a meaningful way, and that the fans are so open to having them be like literally faces of NXT and TNA. It's a beautiful thing. Ethan Page, El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. for the NXT North American Championship. I actually would have loved to have seen a title change here. They did not do that. Ethan Page retains the championship. Not thrilled with the outcome, but at least I understand it. Page is doing a great job with the championship. I really want to see him on the main roster. I think that's my biggest holdup with him. Going into the Women's North American Championship match, a little weird for me. The whole Sol Roca not being able to defend it, Zarya doing it for her, that kind of thing. Zarya, so against Blake Monroe, I don't think anybody would have seen anybody but Blake Monroe winning this match. I think it's the only thing that makes sense, and which is exactly what happens. Blake Monroe wins the championship, but Sol Roca does get involved physically on the outside of the ring. They DDT her, go into the ring, hit another DDT, pin, win the championship. Blake Monroe is off and running as the new NXT Women's North American Champion, which I think is overdue. I actually thought they might have put the NXT Women's Championship on her right away. This gives her a little bit of time before that has to become a reality. And whenever she is ready for that, she may be able to do that against Tatum Paxley, the new NXT Women's Championship, defeating JC Jane tonight. Interesting. I mean, I have no problem. I think JC Jane had the belt for probably a little too long for my taste. Not because I don't have respect for her talent, I really do. But I think there's a lot there that they could do with other women, and I think JC Jane has worked with enough of them that you need to get something fresh in there, get some new pairings in there for the premium prize in NXT for the women's division. The Broken Hardys taking on Dark State, that is going on right now. I'm not going to say anything about it because the match is not over. And then the main event tonight will be Ricky Saints and Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. I suspect that Ricky Saints retains there. Obviously, I think the Hardys retain in their match, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a Broken Rules match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. We'll see. But that is all the time we have for this episode. Check out our next episode. We run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks as always go out to Suno AI for generating music and sound effects we use on our show. Today's show sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bring a new friend to family game night. It's easy with Sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beazle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com and pick up your copy today. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college or university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you so much for taking some time with us tonight. Till next time, take care, everybody. Have a great night.